Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel and to another video. First off, I'm going to apologize if I sniffle quite a lot during this video. I've just done my regular end of the world virus test. I'm not saying his name. So I'm pretty much going to be sniffling for the rest of the night. So I do apologize. I will try to rein it in. But if a few get through, I'm sorry. I appreciate that sniffles are quite annoying to hear. So for this video, I am going to do a book haul. I was on holiday on annual leave last week and I went into town and I went through several charity shops and I bought a couple of books. And I'm sitting looking at my pile and realised I bought one or two more than I thought I did. I'd convinced myself I'd only bought 4 or 5 books. No. So the first one I'm going to talk about is actually a library book. I went to the library on Friday thinking I will return my books, I will not browse, and of course I browsed because we're allowed to do that now. So I picked up The Memory Shop by Elle Griffin. I also started it last night. I needed something that was quite an easy read and didn't require too much brain power, which this blessedly is exactly what I needed. It is about a girl, Nora, who I just read it last night and I had to remember her name. But this is about Nora who has gone over to Dublin, back to Dublin, to deal with the selling of her grandparents' house after they've passed away, and she has to get rid of a lot of the belongings and try and sell them off. And a lot of these belongings are antiques, worth quite valuable, but also have a lot of precious memories attached to them. So she decides to open a pop-up shop to to sell a lot of these items. And in doing so, we meet a whole host of other characters from in and around the area whose lives are all sort of intertwined to various degrees. And it's just a really sweet, heartwarming heartwarming story. It's just sort of like perfect for a cold night. I was reading this cuddled up with a cup of tea and just really enjoying myself. I'm really enjoying this read so far. But now on to books that I have bought. The first one I bought is Ill Wind by Rachel Kane. Rachel Kane, yep. Back when I was in high school and sort of uni aged, I was really into sort of like my paranormal romances. I was reading a lot of Charlene Kenyon, Laurel K. Hamilton, and I think I kind of got to the point where I read so much that I read myself out of them. I really just put myself out of the mood for reading them for years. So lately I've sort of been wanting to pick up one or two. Just to see how I feel about them. I mean, I saw this one. It's book one in a series. I think it's the Weather Warden series. Other than that, I don't know too much about it. I'm gonna give it a try, maybe towards the end of the month, see how I feel. But it was only £2. It was in a charity shop, so I figured why not. The next one I bought is called St. Peter's Fair by Alice Peters. Yep. It's only about 200 pages long, so it's going to be a super quick read, but it is a medieval whodunit. A bunch of Benedictine monks at a fair. There's a riot breaks out, a body appears, and then once it all starts calming down, and it's up to one of the monks who's been brought out of retirement to try and figure it out. And it just sounds like a lot of fun. There's a huge amount in the series by the looks of it, so I've got this one. I do also have another two that I'd bought previously, but I'm glad I found book one. Even if I know a series can be read out of order, I still want to read them in publication order. It's just a tick I have. I will read them out of publication order if I absolutely have to, but if I don't have to, I'm not going to. And now I don't have to. The next one I got is Heart of Mirage. Yeah, you're trying to read the title. By Glenda Lark. This is book one in an epic fantasy that, with the exception of 3 of these books, they all came from charity shops. I where I can, I will always try and buy my books secondhand. It's just so much more affordable that way, and I'm helping out in some small way. This is a story of treachery, my treachery, and the treachery of those who betrayed me. It is a story of mirages and those who made them. It is my story. Um, it sounds like, I think this is a story of a girl who has been captured from her country, taken to another, raised by a general quite high up in that country, and then when she's grown, sent to sort of like act as a spy and saboteur in her home country. And I think it's possibly going to dive into nature versus nurture here, as she sort of like learns more about her home country, and her origins, and there's this conflict of, do I fight for my home country where I come from, or do I fight for those who raised me? And sort of like, where do you draw the line? Where's the balance here? I have no idea when I'm going to get to this, because my TBR shelf is exploding right now. But I don't know. It has a lot of promise in it. Okay, so the next one I've got is Sparrow Falling. I can't remember where I bought this. I think this was a charity shop one as well. This one I've never heard of the author. Guy Siebold? I know a Gaia, so I think this is hopefully pronounced Guy. I have no idea how to pronounce this author. Here is the author's name. No idea. But this is a steampunk aesthetic setting, with a girl who, oh gosh, where it looks like she's set up a school to teach sort of like spy and burglar skills. There are spirit animals potentially. We have a half fox spirit in it. I don't think it's going to be too serious a story. It just looks like a lot of fun. Possibly a palate cleanser between more serious books. Feels very lighthearted from what I've gleaned from the cover, at least. The next one, this pile is never ending. The next one I've bought, I actually got this one in Tesco's. It was part of the 2 for $5. And I am not going to lie, I bought it because of the pretty cover. This is set in the 1950s. About a woman who contacts a paper claiming to have given birth to a daughter despite being a virgin. And sort of like all the investigations and everything that just sort of like goes along with that. It's been, according to the cover, it was longlisted for the Women's Prize in Fiction just this year. So I think it's quite a new book. That could be, I don't know, I'm curious. I'm very curious about this one. I'm either going to really enjoy it or just really not get on with this book at all. So this will probably be a reading vlog book, just to let everybody share my journey and experience with it. The next one I got was part of the same £2 for £8 deal in Tesco's, and that is Piranesi. I don't think I need to say too much about this one. It is one of the most popular books this year, also shortlisted for the Women's Prize. I really want to say, did it not win it? Has that been announced yet? I could be making that up. Yeah, I actually don't know too much about Piranesi, other than that, once again, it's quite a short book. It shouldn't take me too much to read, and that pretty much every reviewer, booktuber that I follow that has also read it has had nothing but praise for it, including a few whose reading tastes align relatively close to mine. So yeah, I'm basically jumping on the bandwagon. Everyone's reading this book, so now I want to read this book. I'm human. I'm not embarrassed by this. Next one I got, this was another charity shop. I think this one's only about £1. It's called The Friday Night Knitting Club by Kate Jacobs. It's basically sounds like the story of someone who starts a stitch and bitch, which is something I do with my friends semi-regularly. And throughout these sort of like knitting sessions and stitch and bitches, we find out the stories of the participants, We find out about their lives and all the everything that's going on. So I think it's probably going to be a quite easy read, quite a quick read. It sounds like it's going to be quite fun. I'm using the word fun a lot, but I really enjoy reading, and most of this just sounds like fun to me. We're almost getting to the end of this pile. The next one I got was the Essex Serpent. I really enjoy books set sort of like in a historical setting. I adore a historical setting or a world of ours that just doesn't exist. A world that just doesn't exist. It's completely different from our own. Despite the fact that there's contemporary fiction on there, it's not my bread and butter. Something that completely takes me away from today, that's my bread and butter. So this one is set in the late 1800s. It is a woman who is recently widowed, retreats to the countryside. We've got rumours of this Essex Serpent, a creature of folklore, rumours of it having returned. So I think the story delves into that. I think her son really gets quite obsessed with this potentially. And it's a story of, like, is this actually real? Is it not? Who knows? This was the Waterstones Book of the Month, not when it was published. I remember seeing it a lot on their shelves and I was quite intrigued, but I never got round to reading it. So I think if I don't read it this month, it's maybe next month. I don't think it'll be too long before I pick this one up. The next one is another steal. It was only £1 from our charity shop. It is the Kate and Clara's Curious Cornish Craft Shop. It's not a Mills and Boons, but it's probably quite close to that read. It is a proper contemporary romance. Kate thinks all her wishes have come true when she opens her own craft shop in the idyllic harbour of St. Felix. There is Jack, an shop owner nearby, so we know where that romance is going. Well, we know what our main romance is already. And we're going to be finding out about a 60-year-old love story from the previous shop owners, who presumably have passed away at this point. It just sounds like a really cute, maybe like a weekend read, when it's howling a gale outside, cup of tea beside me, not expecting too much from me. It's not going to require too much brain power. It's going to be a nice, slushy, fluffy romance, which I absolutely adore. I'm unabashed. I am unashamed. The last one. Yes, we have made it to the last book. The last one. Okay, confession. This one I did pay full price for. I did buy it in Waterstones. And I have a thing for books signed by authors. So I first picked it up because of that sticker there, which I have not quite peeled off yet. But this is called The First Woman by, and I apologise, I'm going to butcher this name, Jennifer Nansubuga Makumbi. This is a story of a teen who has been raised by family other than her parents, by sort of like her aunts and uncles and grandparents, I believe. And there's a lot of mystery surrounding her parents. Anytime she's asked questions about them, the subject's been changed, she's been brushed off, told, no, we don't talk about them. This, I believe, is a fantasy. I found it in the fantasy section. And there is some form of magic in this. There's a lot. One of the last paragraphs is, as I think she goes off and starts searching for her parents, or searching to find the answers surrounding her birth and her past. Her search will take her away from the safety of her prosperous Ugandan life, plunging her into a very different world of magic, tradition, and the haunting legend of the first woman. I am so intrigued. I am hoping to start this one next, I think. Once I finish The Memory Stop and Sorcerer to the Crown, I think this is going to be my next one. It has been sitting on my bookshelf for about 2 weeks now. This was one of the first ones I bought from this haul, and I'm just my TBR shelf sits sort of like right opposite my bed when I'm sitting, so I can stare at it when I'm facing it right when I'm reading, And I just keep seeing this book on the shelf surrounded. There's like another 30 odd books on that shelf, all waiting to be read next. And this one just keeps, it's just like quietly sitting there, like, you want to read me, Amy? Come on, Amy. It's just, I don't know. I think this one's going to be really intriguing, really gripping, really capturing. Yeah. So that is my book haul. I hope you enjoyed it. Maybe I gave you some inspiration, or maybe you all think I'm mad now. And oh my gosh, what is her reading taste like? um, but yeah, anyway, I will end the video here, and I will hope to see you all in the next one. Bye.